Welcome to another Down the Rabbit Hole video. We're going to be talking about something different, something new. I want to kind of introduce maybe another section of my videos because I've been trying to mix it up a bit, see if this takes. I want to talk about kind of the 1920s/1930s gangster era and how at first I didn't really have much of an interest in it. It seemed like an era that was a bit dull. Dungeons and Dragons, there was a variation of that set in the 1920s called Gangbusters. That was something we never really dabbled with, but thought it was kind of cool. And then Indiana Jones came along. That was kind of the 1930s adventure era thing. And that was great for that one very refined niche, but wasn't quite what interested me. And then I moved to the UK where, my goodness, have they got a lot of shows based in that era. I mean, you just name it. They've got all these dramas and mysteries and adventures. Well, actually, no adventures. That's the problem. All of these different shows, as great as they were very kind of just a lot of talking and very stuffy and not something that a young version of myself who was looking for action and adventure really wanted. So, never really paid much attention to it. And really, there's a lot of UK-made shows in the 20s and 30s era that I just thought, well, it's cool, but it's not for me. Until I saw the movie The Untouchables. I really, really love that movie, and it kind of made a big impression on me. It's sort of, it even stands up today. It's a little sort of sugary sweet in some parts, and it has Kevin Costner in sort of his breakout role, and although I'm not a big fan of Kevin Costner now, this movie really changed my mind about him. And I wanted to maybe, like, it almost seems like a way to launch a franchise. Like, suddenly this, shooting down Al Capone and all that kind of stuff seemed like a really great idea, especially the way the film portrayed it. I know The Untouchables then went on to do a spin-off TV show, didn't really like that, and I know even that was all based on an old 60s show with Robert Stack. So I know The Untouchables is not a new thing. But that movie suddenly invigorated an interest in me in kind of the era, the 20s and 30s time. And it has a few connections to other stuff that I really like. I might dabble on that. But, so, I mean, yeah, I've got like an old-timey radio. This is actually a modern one that takes tapes in the side. Might do a video about it someday. And I've got a candlestick telephone, so that's pretty cool. It does work. Talk about that maybe in another video. I'm thinking about maybe doing this as a series. I might call it like way back retro, stuff from nearly 100 years ago. And in fact, my interest even dabbled in the realm of comic books. There was this series here, Torpedo, 1936. Really, really cool. Alex Toth and Jordy Burnett. Might talk about that as well. So I might be doing this as a part of my channel. Might talk about way back retro stuff. I've already talked about my top hat. Why not follow through with all this other good gear? And to me, it seems the best way to start is, as you've seen in the thumbnail, I'm going to drink vodka from a Tommy gun. This is something that I've seen. Now, I know that, I've done my Blade Runner bottle, a bunch of things, and there's a couple of other neat-looking bottles I might get. And I had seen this in various searches for, what are some weird bottle shapes? This is one. The Tommy gun machine gun. Now, let me just see here. It's vodka. Who makes it, anyway? Roaring 20s Tommy gun vodka, imported by Mercy Company, Franklin Park, Illinois. Well, Illinois, Chicago, bang bang. This is actually a really good selection. I don't know. I mean, looking at the label, I don't think it's going to be very high quality, but that's what this is all about. We're going to do a tasting video. Let's see what it's like, tasting the 20s, drinking vodka from a Tommy gun. Now, to do this properly, what my plan is, let me just set this to the side. Before we drink right out of the Tommy gun, I've actually got a couple of other vodkas to compare. I've got some Polar Ice, which is a cheap-ish Canadian brand. It's, maybe $10 for this bottle, so I think that's kind of entry level. This might be worse than that. We'll find out. And also got some Smirnoff to be properly, of an established brand, something that a lot of people know and like. So first I'm going to try the Smirnoff and the Polar Ice, then I'm going to see what it's like with the vodka from the Tommy gun. Which one should I start first with? Should I go with the crummy stuff and then the good stuff? which might ruin my palate. I've got some water standing by here to cleanse the taste buds. Let's start polar ice, and then we'll work our way up. Got some appropriate looking shot glasses here, so we'll begin with the polar ice and just see. I'm not a big vodka expert any more than I'm a whiskey expert, as people will attest. I like Johnny Walker Red Label, what do I know? But let's see what we get for some comparisons here. So this is polar ice. What is it like as a shot? I don't know. Do you let vodka breathe? Not sure. Let's try it. Very cinnamon-like, very fruity, smooth. I think for entry-level vodka, I'm guessing that's it's okay. Lord knows what this is going to be like, but let's just get there in a second. Now, let's get some Smirnoff. Nice big shot of that. Before I have it, let's cleanse the palate with a bit of water. Okay. There we go. Yes, Smirnoff, I mean, that's probably the biggest brand known around. So I figure this stuff is, this is what, number 21. I don't know if there's a variety of different Smirnoffs or not, but regardless. Let's have some Smirnoff in comparison to the polar ice. That one is not as cinnamony, doesn't have the heat that polar ice has, which maybe that's an indication that this is like cheap stuff. I know some people have discussed, you know, Johnny Walker Red Label, as I use that comparison again, is very, it burns as it goes down because it's such a young whiskey. Polar ice does have a little bit of that compared to the Smirnoff. Smirnoff, smoother, not as cinnamony, but I also, you know what, not really as flavorful. Now, I'm not sure, like with whiskey, with vodka, is it like whiskey? Do you want it to have a good flavor infused in it? I don't know. Most vodkas I know, except for when you're drinking it like a Russian and having it with, you know, heroin, most of it, vodka, I think, is usually mixed with stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of Russian viewers who will be very angry at me for saying that. Regardless, let's cleanse the palate again, because next, it's the Tommy gun. Now, I'm looking forward to trying this out. I'm actually going to pour it gun style, and as a result, I'm not going to use tiny little shot glasses, because that might be quite a little bit of a thing to aim for. So I'm going to have a big glass. Now, I'm not filling this with this vodka. I'm just more, that gives me a good wide target to aim with when I crack this open and try to pour. I love this bottle, though. I mean, even if this tastes terrible, like if it tastes worse than the polar ice, I just love the bottle. That's going to look so classic. Okay, let's crack it open. There we go. Ooh. Bits have all fallen off. Okay. What is that? Is that a stopper? It's got a little pinhole thing there. Okay. Would that even pour? Oh, maybe that's because it's such a tall bottle to stop it gushing out. Maybe they've put a little, it's like a tiny little server. All right, let's see what we get. Let's try pouring. Yeah, there we go. Hey, that's a good idea. I like that. Hey, yeah, that little pinprick there actually allows it to pour in a refined manner. Top marks to the makers for that. All right. How is vodka from a Tommy gun? It doesn't have the burn of the polar ice. I put it on par with the Smirnoff, actually. It's very smooth. Not a strong flavor to it. That's surprisingly, I mean, looking at this label, I didn't think it was much to it. I thought it's more going for the kitsch factor than actually having any quality. A little bit, in a way, I must confess, like that Fallout Nuka rum that they sell. I've heard not great things about the actual quality of the rum itself, but yeah. And ironically, Fallout does have this 1920s sort of vibe to it. I know it's set in the 50s, but it's got that kind of oldie-worldy kind of vibe going on. What I'm going to do, I didn't think I was going to have multiple shots, but I kind of need to do one last comparison. Let's have the Smirnoff again, just like half a shot, and just do a final comparison, because this is on par with the Smirnoff. Palate cleanser. Okay, ready to go. Smirnoff. There's a greater warmth to the Smirnoff. I like it more. Or it has a more present flavor. There's more to Smirnoff. It's here. It's ready to go. It's exciting to actually drink. But it doesn't burn the way the Polar Ice does. And the Tommy gun, the panel. So that's Smirnoff, ready to go. The Tommy gun. The Tommy gun's weaker, but smooth. There's a very defined flavor for the Smirnoff. I would say Smirnoff and Polar Ice, you know you're drinking vodka. They are ready to go. But the Polar Ice has a bit of a burn to it, probably because it's cheap and young and we're not talking high quality there. Whereas the Tommy gun is as smooth as the Smirnoff, but it doesn't have as strong of a flavor to it. So, it's certainly quite nice. I think that would be quite presentable at a party, you know, in addition to being a great conversation piece. It's actually a decent vodka. You know, put it into your, what are some of those things, like a screwdriver or what have you, and, you know, you can do it. And I do like the fact that it's got that little pinprick thing, so it pours without it gushing forward. That's a good design. So there we go. All right, well, there we go. I have had vodka from a Tommy gun. I hope people like this. I think I might do more of this kind of way back retro kind of thing because, as mentioned, I've got a variety of other items that I could talk about. Well, until next time, we'll see you down the rabbit hole.